Welcome back, everybody, to We Are TPM with myself, John Teixeira, sitting next to Kyle Teixeira. We are back this week to discuss buy, borrow, and die strategy. If you would like to give us a call, you can call me because I'm actually Kyle at 817-818-9039. Shoot us an email at showmethemoney@wearetpm.com. I guess the first question is, did I do that on purpose?
I don't know. I don't know if you did it on purpose or not, but I can be Kyle for the remainder of this podcast if you want me to.
We'll end that in there. But
okay.
Buy, borrow, die. That sounds like a headline. It sounds like clickbait. Sounds like
a movie. Let's make a movie.
Oh, that's yeah.
Buy,
you know
borrow,
what?
and die.
We're out, guys.
Who's gonna be in our movie?
I don't know. Someone's got to buy. Someone's got to borrow, and die. Someone's got to die. It sounds like the game. A game comes to mind that I'm not gonna say the name of. Buy, borrow, die. Okay, so what are we talking about? This topic actually came up because I've heard about it a lot. John sent me a YouTube short of it. No, an Instagram reel. Sorry, I got to be specific. Got to make sure to plug the proper platform. You sent me a reel about what? What was the concept?
Well, the oversimplification of it is this. Buy assets, so real estate is what we do, but could be stocks, it could be anything else. Leverage it by borrowing money on it, and then buy insurance policies for that amount that you leveraged so that when you die, it can pay off the loan that you took against the assets, and now your kids or whoever you're leaving your wealth to will have no loan and no leveraged asset, and didn't pay any taxes, I believe, on it. I don't know. I'll let you get into that.
That was
CPA.
That was the oversimplification, I guess. So you buy assets, you borrow against the capital gains on those assets to avoid taxes, because instead of selling, you get a loan for the capital gains because you don't
pay taxes on that.
Yes.
Right.
And you get a life insurance policy so that when you die, the life insurance policy pays off all the debt tax-free, and now your family owns all the assets tax-free.
And you lived off the money basically that you borrowed, or did whatever you wanted with that money.
Yes. Oversimplified. So he sends this to me, and I instantly think, well, yes, I've heard about this a lot, and it can be extremely advantageous for extremely rich people first. So if you are extremely rich, you already do this because it's the only way to live. Billionaires, they all do this. Like multi-millionaires, they all do this. So
what if I only have 1 million?
If you only have 1 million, so did you make that million this year? Or did you make that million over time? Because if you made that million this year, you will probably be taxed at 55%. So we could have that conversation. If you made it all in the past and now you didn't make crap this year, and now you're going to get taxed at 12% or 22% or something like that, it makes a difference. So, and it's really it's also interest rates, right? You know, really rich people have access to really low interest rates. So when you combine those two things,
they also have access to unconventional lending practices, right? Like, or private money, or they have access to things that the rest of us don't have easy access to, right? They're not using conventional loans to do this, right?
Well, I could dive into that, and we probably will, but let's tie this back to property management and real estate real quick. So you have a $100,000 mortgage on a rental, and it's worth $300,000, so you have $200,000. Now you want to build your rental portfolio, which is what we talk about all the time. Mm-hmm. So the idea is, instead of selling it and gaining that $200,000 to go use on other investing, you will get a loan against what is you're going
to leverage your equity.
You're going to leverage your equity. So you're going to get up to 80% out, 240, you're going to get 140 grand out, and you're going to go use that to invest. Well, that's not a 140 grand profit. You just took out a loan of 140 grand backed by your equity in this asset. So you don't get taxed as you would in a sale. So for example, if you were to sell it and take that 200 grand, you would probably get taxed anywhere from...
So how would that affect you at death? So for what I'm getting at is, if I had $200,000 in equity in a home and I took 100 out and now I die, now I only have $100,000 in equity. Is it true that I'm only going to pay a quote unquote death tax on the 100,000? Or is it?
It is true. So now you get into inheritance tax, and based on where you live, that can make a huge difference. So your inheritance, you get taxed on the gain. So if your parent bought it at 100,000 and now it's worth 300,000, you essentially get taxed on that capital gains as if they would have. Well, you don't get taxed on that if there's debt against the property. The equity is only what the equity is. So it doesn't matter if they buy it, and this can vary. So I don't want this to be taken too specifically, but yeah, you essentially have properties that are fully indebted.
Do we have to make disclaimers?
Disclaimers: we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Just
I
so
like how
everybody
you went
knows,
in
it's
the
not
disclaimer voice
it's
there.
not
Too. I like that.
This is not financial. We are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice.
Oh, now you got the speed. Now you got the disclaimer speed. I like it.
You got to make sure they hear it. So we are not, portfolio managers.
I think what we're presenting here, though, is an idea that you should go research more. You should understand better and not take our advice and think that Kyle and John are. I'm going to go do what they did or what they told me about.
Let's take it really high level. I mean, why I started this with this is extremely wealthy people do this, right? Let's walk through that example. Why? So I'm Elon Musk. I have $350 billion worth of Tesla stock. I don't need $350 billion worth of cash. What am I going to use that for? Okay, so I also don't want to sell any of my Tesla stock. It's going to keep appreciating or whatever. I don't want to sell it. Well, the bank will give me a loan against my Tesla stock. Or I want to buy Twitter. Which he actually did sell a bunch of stock for, but that's not the point. The point is, if I sell stock, and essentially that entire $350 billion is capital gains. I mean, minus the $100 million he put in, the rest of it's all capital gains, right? So anything he sells is going to be taxed. Pretty much 100% of it's going to be taxed, and he's going to be taxed at the highest capital gains rate that you possibly can. Or he can take out a loan against it, which the bank, a collateralized loan against Tesla stock, for example, is extremely low risk because of the liquidity aspect. So they give you an extremely low interest rate and say, if Tesla stock goes down by 30%, we're going to sell it at this price and call your loan due. So their risk is really nothing. They're going to essentially sell your stock when it gets to the point that they lose money. So they get that, and then they turn around and give you the full loan at, like, say 2-3%. Well, how long does it take 2-3% amortized to reach what you would have gotten on capital gains? Say, even if it's, say, 20-25%. It's going to take years. It's going to take, essentially, that can take anywhere from 15 to 30 years. Well, if the stock keeps increasing.
I have to be honest, I don't even understand the question. That's why I didn't answer you.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, so I sell $100 billion of Tesla stock. If I'm taxed 25%, I pay $25 million in capital gains.
Okay.
If I pull out a $100 million loan and I pay 2% of that $100 million loan,
how long
which
is
$2
to
million,
equate to that tax? Gotcha.
Yeah. So in that example, it's $2 million. It'll take 22 and a half years.
Gotcha.
Well, in 22 and a half years, Tesla stock that $100 million worth of stock is going to be worth.
So Kyle,
more.
I doubt we have that many multimillionaires and billionaires that listen to us. Maybe we do.
Probably not.
Maybe I'm discounting it. But what are the people that might be listening to us? How would they use this strategy?
So you use it, so like your home equity, right? A lot of people want to sell it, cash it in to have the cash. Well, if you take out a loan instead to reinvest somewhere else and you keep doing that, you won't get taxed on the gains, but you can acquire more assets, essentially. So say I have house one, buy it for $100,000. I wait a few years. Now it's got $50,000. I take the $50,000 out. I buy the next house, and I just keep doing that. At the end of it, if I did it 10 times, I would have had $500,000 in equity gain. So I didn't pay taxes on, and now I have 10 houses.
Let me simplify this even more. So I think I know where you're going with this, and I love it. So if we bring this back and take it back to a really simple strategy that a lot of people probably use this strategy in a certain simpler way and don't even realize it. When you go sit down with your insurance guy, he does an analysis of your income, your life, and your assets to figure out how much insurance you need. Basically, that's what we're doing right here, is saying cover everything that you have a loan on, right? So, for instance, let's just say all I have is my primary house and I've got a $250,000 loan. My life insurance, if I die, so that my wife is protected at my death, I want to make sure that my $250,000 loan is covered, that I have whatever you determine amount of income you need so that she can live out her life, right? And you figure that out. What does she need to live out her life, and how does she become debt-free immediately? And that's the number that you should get for insurance. Does that make sense? So on a smaller scale, if you start adding houses to your portfolio, then you just add them to that number and get life insurance for that amount, so that your wife, your kids, your beneficiaries don't have to worry about loans on any of those assets, and now they have
No, it's actually
assets.
You're actually missing the biggest benefit to that. Is it is a foolproof protection for your family, because you get the life insurance. You can get life insurance just for the full amount of the debt on the assets, because the point is, when you die, the insurance policy pays off all the debt. Now everything's paid off and it's all income generating. So now you have replaced your income with assets incomes, essentially. So say you have $10,000 a month in income that you're trying to replace. Well, you need to make sure that when your assets, say they're dividends or rentals or whatever, that the net incomes on that monthly is 10,000. So, which equates to a lot lesser of an insurance policy, but also a bigger benefit from the assets.
Is this a special type of insurance policy, or
just a life insurance policy?
Regular term life?
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Are we going back into disclaimer voice now?
Well, technically, a whole life insurance policy is an investment. It's an asset, so it's a weird question. So I don't know. It's mostly done with term life insurance, yes, because you wouldn't need a longer insurance policy than the term of those debts. So say if they're all 30-year debts, then you don't need longer than a 30-year life insurance policy to do this, because they'd all expire at the same time. So.
All right. Well, I hope this is not as clear as mud, and it's clearer than it is in my pea brain. But I get it. Unsimplified is this is what I feel like. This is the benefit here, right, Kyle? Is what we do is we try to bring these things that people aren't thinking about, aren't talking about, and bring them to our audience so that they can at least learn more, at least be inspired to learn more about strategies like this, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it all goes around a piece that we talk about a lot is collateralization of your assets. Like, debt doesn't get taxed. I mean, a lot of these strategies all come back. This one especially comes back to debt doesn't get taxed, and insurance payouts don't get treated as proceeds, so those don't get taxed. So if you can combine those two facts into something that, like, buy, borrow, and die,
buy, borrow, and die.
That
Sounds
is
so morbid,
advantageous to you, then yeah. Because I mean, this is what companies do. Everyone's like, well, why do these high profit margin, these high cash flowing companies have debts? Why do they have debts at all? Well, I mean, a lot of times it's a strategic instrument. It's keeping good credit worthiness. It's stuff like this that they don't get taxed on debt. So if I made $100,000, I can go blow $100,000 on something that's deductible, and then take out a $100,000 loan so that I don't get taxed on $100,000, right? I mean, that's sometimes what people do. I mean, it's just it's all a balance. Do everything with intention. That's what we talk about a lot. Don't do this and then use the money for nothing. So, I mean, that's pointless, right?
Yep.
Just don't realize the gain if you're going to do that. So, yeah.
Don't pull out $1 million and then just go to Starbucks and.
This is more common for normal people, especially W-2 workers, is 401ks and retirement accounts. 401ks have penalties for early withdrawals, so sometimes you can collateralize the equity you have in those to get around that. I've seen that that happen in the strategy as well, is all I was trying to say.
Yep, we've
So-
talked about that in
Yeah.
past podcasts too. So
So if you guys want to execute the first part
Buy,
and
borrow, and
second
die.
part of the buy, borrow, and die, we actually don't help with the first one. So, just conceptually, give us a call, 817-818-9039. Shoot us an email at showmethemoney@wearetpm.com. We will be practicing similar strategies or anything else you want to talk about. So give us a call. And we are out.
boom.